Have you ever wondered how you could get someone to say yes after they've already said no? Well, today we're diving into a really powerful psychological trick that does exactly that. Yeah, we're going to unravel this psychological puzzle that, honestly, it seems totally backwards. But it's a technique you probably run into every single day, and you might not even notice it. So, what if I told you that one of the best ways to get a yes is to actually hear a big fat no first? Sounds crazy, right? But just stick with me here. All right, let's paint a picture. Let's make this super real with a scenario you've probably been in. Imagine a friend or a coworker walks up to you, and they've got a favor to ask. They ask, hey, can you help me out with this project for like 2 whole hours? Now, you're busy. 2 hours? That's a huge ask. So of course, your immediate natural answer is going to be no. But then, right away, they say, okay, I get it. Well, what about just 5 minutes then? And just like that, you find yourself saying yes. But wait a minute. Why? Your schedule didn't magically open up. There's something else going on here. So to figure out what just happened, we've got to look at the science behind it. What's actually happening inside your brain that makes that second, smaller request so hard to refuse? Well, this whole thing actually has a name. It's called the door-in-the-face technique. It's basically a persuasion method where you lead with a huge request, one you fully expect to get rejected, and then you immediately follow it up with a smaller, much more reasonable one. The real beauty of this technique is how simple it is. I mean, it really just boils down to 2 steps. Step 1, make a big request that gets the door slammed in your face, so to speak. And step 2, quickly pivot to that smaller request you actually wanted all along. So here's what's happening in your head, completely under the radar. Your brain sees them backing down from their huge request, and it registers that as a compromise. And that feeling creates this pressure, this social obligation. You're thinking, well, they compromise, so now I kind of feel like I should too. This whole thing is powered by a really deep, fundamental social rule, reciprocity. It's this principle that's just baked into our psychology. We feel this powerful urge to give back when someone gives us something. And that something can absolutely be a concession, like backing down from a big ask. But look, this isn't just some clever theory. It has been proven time and time again. Let's take a look at the hard data from the classic experiment that really put this technique on the map. Okay, so back in the 70s, in this really famous study, researchers went up to a bunch of university students and asked them to volunteer. Now, the first group got hit with this absolutely massive request. Would you be willing to volunteer as a counselor for 2 hours a week for the next 2 years? As you can probably guess, pretty much everyone said no way. But right after that rejection, the researchers immediately asked for something much smaller. Okay, how about just a single 2-hour commitment? And the results? They were incredible. The group that heard the big request first was more than 3 times as likely to say yes compared to another group that was only ever asked for the small favor. And once you know to look for this, you'll start seeing it absolutely everywhere. Salespeople do it all the time, right? They start with a high price, then offer you a special discount. Negotiators will start with some extreme demand before they move to what they actually want. You even see it in our personal lives, when a friend asks for a huge favor before asking for a much smaller. So it's pretty clear this is a powerful tool. And like with any powerful tool, there's a responsibility to use it ethically. So how do we do that? To use this the right way, just keep 3 rules in mind. First, that big request, it has to be realistic, not completely absurd. Second, the smaller follow-up request has to be genuine. You can't just be playing games. And probably most important, you always have to respect a final no. The goal here is mutual agreement, not manipulation. And let's wrap up with this really powerful idea. Psychology doesn't control people, it explains them. You know, understanding a technique like this isn't about getting one over on somebody. It's about understanding the invisible social rules that guide how we interact. So the real question to leave you with is, now that you can see this pattern, how will that change the way you listen to the very next request you hear?